After defeat at Liverpool, hot Enzo Fernandez development. According to Portuguese sources, Enzo Fernandez missed 2 Benfica practice sessions as speculation about his future increased. Fernandez is back with Benfica after the World Cup. He even took it according to the weekend's 3-0 defeat to Braga. But now he seems to be really pushing to get away from the Lisbon team. Portuguese source Record reports that he has now missed 2 training sessions and is facing internal disciplinary action after that. It is certainly not a coincidence that this situation comes after the huge transfer interest in the player. Indeed, both Liverpool and Chelsea are very keen on Fernandez. While the Blues allegedly tabled an offer, the Reds were reportedly in talks with Jorge Mendes about this player last week. The race for Fernandez's signature heats up, and now it looks like the player himself is preparing for a move. In fact, according to the information conveyed since last week, Chelsea seem to be 1 step ahead of Liverpool. However, it is reported that things have changed a lot after Liverpool's shock defeat last night. It is reported that the Reds decided to be more active in the January transfer window and some radical decisions could be taken. Enzo Fernandez's willingness to come to the Premier League is something that has whetted both teams' appetites. In fact, Fernandez may not be doing himself any favours here, especially when it comes to transferring to a club like Liverpool. The Reds are proud to have a group of players that stick to a mistake and complete the pros. Incomplete education does not fully comply with this morality. Yeah, it looks like he's asking for a transfer. But there are ways and tools to do this without acting unprofessional. An unauthorized absence from practice is one of the worst things a professional football player can do. We have to wonder if Jürgen Klopp and Liverpool want a player on their team with that kind of attitude. As we all know, Fernandez is a great football player, described as amazing at the World Cup. But this move isn't really what you want to see from a young player who's just made a name for himself in the game. The midfielder's new destination is not yet clear. At this point, however, it wouldn't be surprising at all that he played his last game for Benfica. Enzo Fernandez gave a performance that will definitely make a name for himself in 2022 and made his name more known globally with his extraordinary performance in the World Cup. His last move, of course, does not look good, but it seems best to get permission from the club in order to make some transfer negotiations. If Enzo Fernandez made his last game with Benfica, it could be a sad ending for Portuguese fans. But it looks like excellent news for the 2 clubs that need him. It is among the latest news that Liverpool is more determined for this transfer, especially after the loss to Brentford, and they stepped on the gas to end the transfer. The Reds weren't able to gain 3 points, which could have been very advantageous for the top 4, especially in the week where Tottenham lost points and things got into trouble again. FSG management is expected to be more aggressive in the market. Jamie Carragher urges Jürgen Klopp to consider forgotten Liverpool man in his quest for a transfer. Jamie Carragher has urged Jürgen Klopp to sign a Jorginho Wijnaldum type of player to help resolve Liverpool midfield issues after their 3-1 defeat at Brentford. The Reds' 4-game Premier League winning streak came to an overwhelming conclusion at Brentford Community Stadium with Ibrahima Konate's own goal and Yoane Wissa and Brian Mbeumo's kicks. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scored the only goal of the game for Liverpool in the second half as his chance to close the gap to 4th-placed Manchester United was missed. The match was a dismal performance by Klopp's sensitive men in the back, and it was tough every time Brentford stepped forward, especially on the set offence. However, the Reds were also at risk during the counter-attack transition, and due to Jordan Henderson's injury, he lacked legs in midfield to cover the floor. Jordan Henderson and James Milner are entering the twilight of their careers as Liverpool struggles this season, especially in the midfield, when Fabinho, Naby Keita and Thiago are struggling with injuries. And Carragher told Klopp to go out and sign the energetic type of player who can change the midfield, win the ball. Carragher told Sky Sports, "People keep talking about Bellingham and he's rightfully going to be one of the best players in world football. If Liverpool don't make it to the top 4 then that will be a problem, but for me maybe it's a Bellingham type that's just as important. He'll be the Wijnaldum type. He's the type of player next to Fabinho who can only protect that back 4 and stop the players running towards the defense. If you look at the age profile of many players on the roster, there are a lot of players who are great for the club in their 30s or 30s, but that's one of the reasons the property is up for sale. because Liverpool will have to make big signings in the summer. You look at what Chelsea and Manchester United have spent in the summer and they are still not close to winning the title. So you'll see how much funding you need to compete at the top of the league. Every year Liverpool sold somebody, sells somebody, but I think this is a situation where Liverpool should spend around £200 million this summer. I'm not saying that this is the secret to success. There are many teams that have shown that it doesn't necessarily work, but I would say that Liverpool should sign maybe 3 midfielders. Not all of them have to play, but Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, even James Milner are out of contract. I think Liverpool need 3 midfielders, and speaking of real quality, I imagine you need at least £40 to £50 million for those types of players. It's hard not to agree with Carragher's comments. Liverpool's midfield needs to be overhauled, and such losses make that need even more imperative. If the transfer period is not passed with a large fund next summer, it may not be any different from this year. Jürgen Klopp says the £48 million Liverpool player really impressed him against Brentford last night. Jürgen Klopp praised Naby Keita's impact on last night's match despite Liverpool's loss to Brentford. Guinea was one of 3 substitutes brought in by Jürgen Klopp, and his team fell 2-0 at half-time. Speaking after the match, Klopp outlined his thoughts behind the changes while greeting Keita's performance. Virgil felt some pain but said he was fine and is a very good judge for this sort of thing. But I didn't want to take any risks. But I think it's not an injury, he just felt fatigued, the manager explained. Yeah, the other 2 things were tactical. Obviously we had opportunities. I think Naby and Robbo played a really good game. Robbo was exactly what we needed with the first action after half-time. We needed that speed in the back, and so these 2 changes, that was the reason. Perhaps there was an argument that all 3 of Liverpool's half-time substitutions should have started the game. Joel Matip has been good since the season restart, and rusty-looking Ibrahima Konate would be an upgrade. Meanwhile, Robertson was clearly fine after a continued dead leg in Friday's Leicester City win. But Keita was who you thought could really make a difference. The 27-year-old, who had come off the bench in the last 3 games, finally looked ready for a start. Moreover, Harvey Elliott has been pretty scary lately. Any criticism of him should come with the warning that he is still a teenager and always gives his all. But it's still time to get Elliott out of the line of fire. The 19-year-old was alarmingly bad against Leicester and even worse against Brentford. It should never have started. Of course, Keita isn't immune from criticism either. The £48 million man lost the ball very easily in the lead up to Brentford's 3rd goal. Still, Liverpool seemed like a much better side with him on the pitch. A midfielder consisting of Keita, Thiago Alcantara, and Fabinho from the start of the game would probably have given Liverpool a better chance of winning. After missing most of the season so far, it can be easy to forget what a valuable asset Naby can be. Currently playing for Liverpool's future, Klopp needs to have more confidence in him from now on if he's in shape.